Not being so truthful though. Flat broke.
Yeah.
She was like, yes, I am pregnant, yes, you know, whatever. But, you know, I actually am single now. So, you know, you can be with me. Yo, for the past, like, few days, probably, like, in the last actual week, I've been watching Doctor Who all over again. Like, I've been starting it from the beginning and, like, going through. And obviously now I've found out that it's, like, been taken off of, like, wherever it was. But I've been watching, like, essentially people reacting to it, because obviously I've watched it before, but I haven't watched, like, Christopher Eccleston's part and, like, the start of David Tennant's part very often, because, like, it's the end of David Tennant's part. Like, essentially it's, like, season 4 of David Tennant's part, and then, like, Matt Smith's whole part. And then I kind of stopped watching after Matt Smith left, and, like, I watched some parts of Peter Capaldi, but I think I gave up watching all of his parts. Like, I don't actually remember when I stopped watching his parts. The only thing I do remember was I would probably have been like 16 maybe. I don't know, because it's been so many years, but I definitely was a lot younger when Peter Capaldi's stuff came out. I think it's like 12 years or something since he was announced as the Doctor or something. So yeah, it's probably been around, like, I would have been around 16 when Matt Smith was even doing his stuff. So the one thing I do remember is that when I watched the Christmas special of, like, David Tennant's one, where he was with Kylie Minogue, like, that whole one, that was absolutely terrifying for me, because the angels in that episode terrified me so much. Like, I would have probably been like 14. I think I made my entire family watch that episode, and it was like me, my grandparents, and then my mum, and probably my brother. I don't really know if he was there or not, but, like, I just remember watching that back then and being terrified of it. And I just watched the episode, like, probably yesterday, and it wasn't even as scary. But obviously I am, you know, older now, so I would be fine with it. But, like, it's insane how much you can be scared of it as, like, a child, and how much you can be fine with it, or at least better with it as an adult, right? Because my aunt actually hates, she like was terrified of the Oompa Loompas in, like, you know, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, like, you know, that whole thing, Wonka and stuff. And I think when they came out as, like, it was like the original ones that scared her, but then I think she was still scared of the one that was, like, Johnny Depp's one. But the one that didn't scare her as much was the Hugh Jackman one, because she obviously knew who Hugh Jackman was, so she wasn't really as scared of him. But she didn't really watch Wonka, you know, she didn't watch, like, Timothy Chalamet's one. But, you know, that one was still good. Like, I actually did like the fact that they teased that in the trailer, like, that it was going to be Hugh Grant, right? But yeah, anyway, I just want to talk about that. Like, if anybody has watched Doctor Who and they want to talk about this, but my favourite Doctor Who was Matt Smith, and that's why I kind of, you know, lost it. Like obviously Matt Smith and then David Tennant, because, like, David Tennant is, like, the core reason I think where it got better, you know what I mean? Like, obviously I loved Christopher Eccleston. I think he really started off Doctor Who really well, because, like, he was kind of just like a vibe, you know? He, like, didn't really care, like, whatever was going on, he was just kind of there for the ride, you know, a lot of the time. So I just loved his, like, whole thing. And I love the fact that, like, Jack, I think one of my favourite storylines is actually River's storyline, you know, River's song. But I also did love every time Jack came into it, because he was just randomly there. I don't think he was ever in Matt Smith's version of Doctor Who. I think he was only ever in, like, the first twos, because I don't remember ever seeing him in Matt Smith's one. I don't remember seeing him ever with Matt Smith. But obviously they had the, was it 50-year anniversary thing? But it was the one where, or maybe, no, was it 100 or 50? I don't know, but, like, it was the one where Matt Smith and David Tennant were in it together, and they were with the War Doctor, right? The Time War Doctor. That was pretty cool. That was a really cool episode as well. I don't know, like, I never expected to see that, but isn't, like, Billie Piper supposed to be the Doctor now? I don't really know. But I haven't watched any of the, you know, recent ones, so I didn't watch the girl come in. I knew who she was, and I didn't watch the guy, what's his name? He was from Sex Education, right? I think I think he was, right? The other guy that came after her, I think. So I think it was Peter Capaldi, and then was it her, and then it was him, and now it's somebody else. But I also know that there was the David Tennant thing where he like switched. I don't know who it was. I think it was her, right? I think it was her that switched to him. I think she switched to David Tennant, and then it was him after that. So I don't really know what that was about. But also Billie Piper being the Doctor is kind of crazy if that's going to be actually true, because like that's just honestly like you would never expect that, right? Because she's Rose, but it could be like the Doctor is just like pretending to be Rose at that point. I don't really know, because obviously it is like a memory in his mind, like Rose was there, so he could just be imagining that she's like the Doctor now. I don't know. It'd be really cool how they do it though. But yeah, I'm very interested. Like, because I was watching Doctor Who again though, I was like seeing how many people are like how many of the what do you call it, the companions were like really good, and Rose is kind of trash for a lot of the time, to be honest. In like I know that so many people like Rose, but watching her whole journey all over again, she kind of is trash, you know. I don't know, like it's kind of weird the way she is, you know, in a lot of it. Like she's not really wanting Mickey to come along, and then she's not really wanting to talk to her mum. At least when Martha came, I feel like a lot of people hated Martha when the show first came out, but she's actually an amazing like companion, because even though she was kind of like a rebound for him, it was also like he needed, you know, he needed to like have her there, because a lot of the time she just needed somebody, you know, with like Donna coming in for that one episode, and then she obviously comes back. Like I definitely think they did a really good job of having Martha there, because he needed somebody. And also she was just an amazing person. Like the fact that she was worried about her parents, and she was like, you know, all these different things that Rose wasn't. It's just amazing the way she was, for real. So I would say, ranking them all, like the ones that I've watched anyway, I would say she's more my favourite than Rose. I think Rose is probably near the bottom of the list, to be honest, for me. But I would say the top is probably like Donna was amazing, like definitely. I absolutely loved the way Donna was, just like throughout the entire thing that she had, you know. I don't really know if you would count River as a companion, but she's my favourite storyline of Doctor Who, so I don't really know if you would count that. But like I wouldn't count her as a companion though, because she's not really a companion. She's always just she never really goes in the TARDIS very often. She's kind of just always outside of it, like in the actual business, you know. I don't know, so I wouldn't really say she's a companion, because she's the one that makes him go to places a lot of the time, or stuff like that, you know. But anyway, I think my favourite person was Rory though, because like I wouldn't even say it's Amy and Rory, because Amy a lot of the time is kind of trash in her own ways, right? Like I loved her as a specific character, but then I liked her way more after she realised how much she actually loved Rory. And like, you know, there was that one time that he died in the dream world, and then she had to like choose which world was real, right? And because he died in that one world because of the like old people having that thing in their mouth, she like he turned to dust, right? So she was like, no, this can't be the real world. She can't live without him, essentially. She can't live without Rory, even though she rarely ever, I think at that point she never actually told him that she loved him, but obviously she does, and I think that opened her eyes to that. And then the fact that they had the wedding, and you know, just everything. Like Rory waited as her for her in that box thing as a Roman for so long. I don't know, like he's just, oh my god, he's just like the perfect guy, you know what I mean? Like he's the one that you would want. Like he waited for her for so long, and he was, you know, I don't know, like he, like in a lot of ways you can say she does not deserve him, you know, because she was flirting with the Doctor so many times. But I don't know, like they were just a perfect like team up. Like Matt Smith, her and Amy and Rory, like they were just perfect together. And I loved every time River came with them as well, because it's honestly weird thinking about it now, but obviously River is, spoiler alert, River is their daughter. So, you know, she essentially grew up with them the entire time. She grew up with her parents, and she essentially got her parents together so that she would be born, you know? It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. But, yeah. If you watch, like, the whole storyline for River, like, in the opposite way, you know what I mean? Like, I watched a whole video that was about, like, River's storyline, but in the right order. It's kind of crazy, you know? She, like, is a child. She, like, is that child in the spacesuit and everything. So, yeah. Anyway, but it is kind of sad that if she dies, she just dies because she can't regenerate, right? Like, she obviously does die. The first episode we ever see her in, she dies in that episode. Even though she's, like, saved into that thing, she can't actually be a person ever again. She's just, like, a soul now. So it's kind of sad that we lose her in that way, but I think she comes back at some point with Matt Smith. I don't really... Oh, no, she comes back with Peter Capaldi as well. I watched those episodes because I love the whole storyline of River. So I've watched all of those episodes. The first time he meets River, it's kind of hilarious, though, because it's like... She doesn't know that that is him, right? Well, it's not the first time they meet. It's just the first time she sees his face, right? Like with because obviously she doesn't know. She only knew Matt Smith. She didn't know Peter Capaldi. So it's very interesting. But yeah, I love that. Like, one night on that planet or whatever was like what, like 20 years or something. It was like so many years. So she like spent so much time with him at that time. You know. It's just insane to me. But anyway, but would that mean it's like one night is that long, but it's like the time just goes by that long? Or is it like you actually have 20 years, you know, like it's not just one night, it's actually like 20 years or something. I know it's not 20 years, but I forgot how many years it was. But you know, if it is that long, that's crazy. But she was amazing. Alex Kingston, I think, right? Yeah.
That was a lot of like nonsense.
Can but be kidding.